Good morning, everyone. In today's session, we are going to take up the topic longitude and latitude, and particularly in this topic, we are taking up longitude today. South Pole, and it has a bulge in the middle, and the shape of the Earth is not sphere but geoid. So now you may look at the globe here carefully to get an idea. So as we all can see, like Earth has lots of continent, countries, and oceans in it, similarly, globe has all the elements to it. So, the definition of globe becomes that it is the true model of Earth and it may be of varying size. It is not fixed and can be rotated. As you must have observed in your classes, in your schools, and in somewhere else, that the globes are of various types and sizes. The globes are big ones which cannot be carried easily. There are small globes which can be carried in our pockets, and globes like balloon which can be inflated and are handy and carried easily. And the globe is not fixed, as we have already discussed. It can be rotated the same way as we can rotate a spin. A potter can rotate a wheel like that. A globe can be rotated. And now we see the rotation of the Earth. So before discussing the rotation of the Earth, we see that it is very difficult to describe the location of a point on sphere like Earth. Now, for that, the question arises in our mind that how do we locate place on it? Then, so for that we need certain points of reference and lines to find out the location of the places. So now here I have shown you the rotation of the Earth, and you will notice that there is a needle which is fixed here. This is the needle that you can see is fixed on the Earth. So this needle is fixed through the globe in a tilted manner. As you all can see, it is in a tilted manner. So now this needle here is called the axis, and the 2 points on this globe through which the needle passes, one point here and the other point here, are called the two poles. This will be the North Pole denoted by N, and this will be the South Pole denoted by S. So then we can see that the globe can be moved around this needle from west to east, from west to east, just like the Earth moves. So here we have learned that the movement of the Earth, or we can say that the Earth rotates from west to east. But we have to keep one thing in mind, that like globe has this needle fixed to it for its rotation, the real Earth do not have such needles. It rotates in its own axis, and the axis is an imaginary line. Now, there is another imaginary line running on the globe that divides the Earth in two equal halves, which is known as the equator. So the definition of the equator will be It is an imaginary line running on the globe that divides it into two equal parts. Like here you see that there is in a circle, the diameter of the circle divides it into two equal halves. Similarly, the equator divides the earth into two equal halves. Equator up to the poles are called parallels of latitude. Now here you see that these two lines here are dividing the circle into four equal halves, which are of 1/4 each. Now, this is the equator here, which is dividing the earth into two equal halves, and we see that all these lines will be called as parallels of latitude, and all the latitudes are measured in degrees. So the equator represents 0 degree latitude, and since the distance from equator to either of the pole is 1/4 of the circle, which is 360 degree, 1/4 of 360 degree, 1/4 of 360 degree is, as we know, 90 degree. So therefore it will measure 90 degree. North latitude mark the North Pole and the 90 degree south mark the South Pole. And all the parallel north of the equator will be called as north latitude. Similarly, all the parallel south of the equator are called south latitude. And the value of each latitude is followed by either the word N if it is a north latitude and S if it is a south latitude. Now there are further important parallels of latitude. So we will now discuss the important parallels of latitude. So one we have discussed already is an equator, which divides the earth into two equal halves, and it is measured by 0 degree. Another important parallel of latitude that we have is Tropic of Cancer, and it measures 23.5 degree north in the northern hemisphere. Then we have Tropic of Capricorn, which is 23.5 degrees south in the southern hemisphere. Then we have Arctic Circle, which is 66.5 degree north in the northern hemisphere. And lastly, the Arctic Circle, which is 66.5 S, which is in the southern hemisphere. So these were the important parallels of latitude.